What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about a fragrance from the house of Electimuss. This house is stacked, and though they have more fragrances than I have, I'm sitting on about 20. Shout outs to Shan for hooking that discovery set up. And we've got a lot to roll through. I think we've done 2 so far on the channel. We've got 18 more to go. So I'm actually going to try to cover all of them this week. But today we've got one for you, which I have yet to hear of. So this is a unisex fragrance, and you're going to need to strap up because we're going for that ride. All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening. Today from the house of Electimuss, we have Imperium. All right, what can I tell you about this fragrance? Unisex, 4.29, so we'll round up to 4.3 out of 5, 1,100 votes, so that's substantial. And as far as story on the fragrance, Imperium was the supreme executive power held by the intellectual and political giants of the ancient world, requiring great intellect, presence, ambition, success, influence, and popularity. That is some large shoes to fill. This sparkling aromatic fragrance confidently opens up with blah, 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 blah. And okay, we're not going to talk about the notes. Chefed by Sofia Bardelli. Let's engage. Again, unisex fragrance classified as a... Actually, it doesn't even say its classification in terms of scent, but I know there's some vanilla in there. That's about it. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Initial impressions. One spray on the hand because this atomizer is nice, I gotta say. Ooh, and I almost have like a Ventus type of sweep through here on my nose. I'm gonna just go ahead and cheat and look down. This perfume reminds me of, wow, wait till you guys see the comparisons here because they're quite, that's one of the funniest contrastive comparisons I've ever seen. I got a brush of a Ventus, but like a good girthy like vanilla backbone behind it. Citrus vanilla, that's what I'm getting. And it is a Ventus-y, but honestly, it feels like the clones of a Ventus in the realm of something between Off-Down Supremacy Collector's Edition and Pre-Show 1 from Club de Nuit from Armaf. But there's a substantial amount of like a silky, warm vanillic base that neither of those two had that this one does have. But it does scream Aventus. I've heard a lot of people say that Electimuss is a clone house, you know, jokingly. So I can see some of that resemblance right now. It's way more vanillic on the test strip. I get a lot more of that like tart citrus on the top, on the skin. So definitely put this on your skin because it's quite a different experience by like 30-35% in terms of smelling the test strip versus skin. This is definitely a fragrance y'all are going to want to put on skin. Let's see what's in this bad boy. Bergamot, coriander. I get a rich bergamot note, and it feels like pineapple initially, probably just because of the saffron hitting up against that and the spice, but definitely hones it in on the dry down. And it starts to get more vanillic like the test strip on the dry down. Leans a lot more into kind of a bergamot, saffron, white flower, vanilla base. Yeah, jasmine, lily, saffron, tuberose, neroli, and rose. I don't get a lot of the rose or tuberose on it at all. It's mostly a white floral vanillic with a heavy citrus top. Base, vanilla, musk, gaiac wood, patchouli, amber, and agarwood. It's not oudy, but it is musty under that vanilla. And that amber is really just like glue. It's like this warm glue to everything. So the pie here is like 60% citrus, maybe even 50% citrus, 40% vanilla, 10% kind of this. That was a hard pie cut up. 40% bergamot, that feels like pineapple initially. 40% this saffron vanillic thing going on. And then 20% of this white floral amber thing going on. The oud's virtually not there. It's not super woody. It's just kind of warming up giving the vanilla a little bit more base to sit on. I'm not getting a ton of the tuberose and rose. And even the neroli, I mean, I guess those all kind of just contribute to that white floral pillowy thing, but it is more creamy, dense, gourmandish under there than floral leaning. That vanilla really is starting to peek its head out. I'm sure there's great longevity with this, 8 hours plus probably. Moderate sillage, I'm clocking like, I feel like this should easily have a 4 feet of sillage. No question. No question. I mean, it does have a light floral lift, but it's a middleweight dense fragrance with a lot of pillowy vanillic body. And typically vanilla is a very sillage heavy type of note, no matter which way you slice it. Longevity, most people are clocking it as long lasting. I think this should go 8 hours easy, no matter what kind of amount of sprays that you do. But I think the sillage will probably be 3-4 feet for most of you guys. Check this out though. This perfume reminds me of, and look at what everybody put. There's 2 fragrances that seem to be in the wheelhouse of this. Hasavat style DNAs and Ani style DNAs. We've got Aventus, Hasavat, which that's why I compared the clones together, Collector's Edition and Per Show. And then we've got this Ani and Ani X thing going, but then we also have this Cedrat Boisé aspect, and I think that's due to the florals here. Man, this is going to be so crazy to say, but this Amir Cedrat Essence, which is fantastic, actually smells like this, but slightly lower quality. So if you want like a super duper, like slept on budget alternative, Amir Cedrat Essence is phenomenal. Amir Cedrat Essence leans more toward a Cedrat Boisé with a honeydew melon note. That's the way I used to describe it a year or two ago. But amazing alternative to this. The more this sits down, the softer it gets. But Ani X will be a lot more robust version. I think Ani X is probably, and I have Ani X, it has a lot more growl than this. So this fragrance sits between Ani X and kind of a Cedrat Boisé, but the opening feels very much Aventus-y, but then it sits down and gets more away from Aventus by about 30%. And yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap up some usual suspects for you and get out of here. I think the sweet spot for this is cooler weather, 75 and down, fall, winter, spring, summer nights if there's a breeze. It's somewhat intimate, but it's also playful. This could easily be any kind of date scenario. Brunch, lunch, dinner. This is kind of like the hard edge, soft edge kind of guy. You know, it's Aventus-y at first, but then when it sits down, it's a lot more Ani X-ish. So it's more of that Eros kind of, the blue Eros kind of feel where it's fresh and soft sweet. I like it. It's not bad. I mean, the quality there is super high. Age range, I think it's unisex with a slight masculine lean just due to the affiliation to the Aventus style. But honestly, this fragrance is confused a bit, but in a good way. It just happens to, you can't go wrong with vanilla and florals and musk ever. So even though I think the perfumer is somewhat confused on this batch, they struck gold. It's not utter perfection due to the blend style, but you kind of get the best of a lot of different worlds. You get some Cedrat, you get some Aventus, and you get some Ani in there. So yeah, I think this is definitely a somewhat flirtatious, fresh kind of fragrance. Women can totally pull this off, but I do think it has a masculine lean just due to the Aventus connotation. Again, it feels more Aventus-y in the opening. The dry down, it's back there, but it's definitely more Ani X-ish, Cedrat Boisé-ish. Age on this, honestly, I think anyone can wear this. Let's call it 20 and up. If I'm being technical, 25 and up on both sides of gender. Performance, 8 hours plus. Sprays on this, I think if you're indoors, 3 or 4 is plenty. If you're going outdoors and indoors or just purely outdoors and things like that, I think you do have to take it up to at least 6 sprays. So I'm calling 6 to 8 sprays. Alternatives, virtually anything. I think Amir Cedrat Essence from Paris Corner is going to be your cheapest alternative, sitting at around the $20, $30 price point. And then you have Ani X, Cedrat Boise OG. And I don't think Aventus is the alternative to this, so don't go get an Aventus clone if you want this style. Yeah, definitely not. The price on this bad boy, I think Electimuss fragrances on discounters are quite reasonable. I'm going to look that up real quick for you guys here. I'm going to go to Olfactory. That's just a great reference for this, for discounted prices. I'm seeing Max Aroma, not Max Aroma. I'm seeing it go for anywhere between 130 and 120 and 140 for the 100 mil. Solid price point for the quality, I think. But you do have plenty of alternatives. So I think at that price point, I would probably go with Ani X because it's more projective and a little bit more detailed. But we're threading, you know, we're splitting hairs at this point. Would I get Cedrat Boise over this? I think if you can get Cedrat Boise between like the $60 to $80 price point, certainly. But if you're getting Cedrat Boise for north of 100, I think this or Ani X makes all the sense in the world, unless you're just going the budget route with a mere Cedrat Essence. Again, there's a honeydew facet to Cedrat Essence, but it's and obviously it's not as Aventus-y at all than this, but I think it's a great alternative for you. So you definitely have plenty of options. As a score, easy 8 for me. If it wasn't so confused between 3 different fragrances, I could easily give a fragrance like this a 9 because it's just super versatile. It could go 4 seasons, even though it has a fall-winter lean. But easy 8, and probably like more in the 8.5-ish territory, somewhere between an 8 and a 9. So we're clocking it at 8 for now. And yeah, I think we covered everything. Again, this was Electimuss Imperium. The thing I notice about Electimuss fragrances is they're very robust. Cloning and all that stuff aside, the bottles look incredible. Matter of fact, can I show them to you? I mean, just look at these bottles. I mean, this is not the most amazing thing in the world, but if you ever hold an Electimuss bottle, it feels like you're holding a brick. I mean, these things are like weighty and substantial. So having an Electimuss fragrance, even the name and just the iconography and stuff like that, definitely is something where it's kind of the Argos effect, where you're going to try to make every excuse in the world you can to have an Electimuss fragrance on your shelf, just due to the quality and the presentation alone. But I'm here to dispel, you know, what's good and what's not, and kind of speak to what stuff stands out than others from the brand, because they seem to be cranking fragrances out. But anyways, this was Imperium from Electimuss. Like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. Talk to me. I do talk back. Join my free Discord. We are almost closing it. We're almost at 100 people, and that's when I'm going to be capping it off until we launch the membership tier. So also, if you're interested to see a lot of the sneak peeks I have for my channel, I'm giving all that out for free in the Discord as of right now until further notice. And I got to go, but I'm going to throw 2 videos up based off what you've been searching for, because I got to go, but you can continue the show. And I hope you guys stay blessed. I would ask you what fragrance should I try next from Electimuss, but we're going to hit all 20. So stay tuned until the next video, and I love you guys. Peace.